Browns, the longest tenured Brown now that Myles Garrett's gone, now that Joel Bitonio's gone. There you go. Ian Rappaport or Tony Dandy. Oh, no, he's the guy who negotiated. Ian Rappaport with a new deal for Denzel. 2-year, $62.2 million extension makes him the highest paid defensive back in NFL history for the second time in his career. The deal includes $52.3 million guaranteed, so all but $9.9 million guaranteed, guys. He has 2 years left on his current deal, which will be his age 29 and 30 season. And then these two added years, and we don't have the details on like when they can get out of it, but these 2 extra years in which he's scheduled to make $31.1 million per year, with most of it guaranteed, $26 million, I guess, on average guaranteed per year. He will be 31 and 32.
Yeah.
Chris, did the Browns make a mistake?
No.
No?
I think Denzel Ward, especially with the turnover you've had on the roster and all the other things going on with it, he has been nothing but a consummate pro. He has been a great bell ringer for the community, a great bell ringer for your franchise. He's played really well. You absolutely extend him. Now, does he see the end of that contract before they move off? We don't know. We don't know the specifics of the detail. There's no Myles Garrett poison pill in there that makes you think, well, maybe they'll trade him by this. But you absolutely reward the guy that has done nothing but everything you've asked him to do and has been, I guess, now the Browns' best player, right? Even at 29, 28, he's still the best player
I still say he's their best player, yes.
Yeah, they absolutely made the right decision. You got to reward the guys who have been there for you. So I have no problem with this at all.
Jason?
Now, when is Zach back on?
Because
Zach
doesn't like this at all, Zach Jackson.
Yeah, Zach was anti making this deal. He basically said it just doesn't fit their timeline.
Yeah.
Makes it harder to tank games. Zach's back in later this week. We're still working out because of training camp schedule.
Yeah.
Is he going to come in Thursday or Friday? But
so he can explain his own thought process on that. I do think this is different than Myles. I was completely in favor of trading Myles. I thought they should have done it last year. And Denzel is different because, number one, he's never asked for a trade. And number two, he's exactly what you want in the locker room. He's exactly what you want as a defensive leader. And I do think that there's a little bit of a reward here for him from the organization of, you know, we've been through the muck. You hung in there with us. Thanks for being a good soldier. Never hear anything out of him. And I think part of this is listen, he's a phenomenal player, obviously, still. But I think part of this is also a reward for being a good soldier and for being such a great leader and doing things the right way and approaching everything the way that you want it approached. So I am curious to see when it'll be a few days, probably the end of this week, early next, when the real details of the contract are out. And then you can see if this helps being able to trade him later, if it makes it harder. I don't think that he ends his career here, unfortunately. I think they probably will move off of him at some point. But for the time being, like we said this when they traded him out, you can't get rid of everybody. Like, you have to have some sort of veteran leadership in the locker room. And part of the Browns' problem for the last 30 years is having the wrong guys in leadership positions and having leaders that aren't great leaders. And I think that they've got a few more to go with how it's structured, but I think it's a step in the right direction moving. And listen, I tiptoed around it with the Myles stuff last year and everybody lost their minds, but he was not the type of leader. Phenomenal talent on the field. In the locker room, you can probably do a little bit better. Denzel is exactly what you want. So for that reason, I don't have a huge issue with it. I'll just be curious to see the terms of the contract extension when they come out.
Obviously, there's some potential downside because it seems like most of the money's guaranteed. And at age 31, 32, he could be a bad player.
Yeah.
I mean, it could happen in a hurry.
Yeah.
That being said, I agree with what you're saying. If you're going to do it for a guy, you do it for Denzel Ward.
Absolutely.
Consummate pro, consummate leader. I think while, yes, his concussions are a concern because he's had a lot of them, I think it's been overstated. He hasn't missed that many games. He's never missed a significant chunk of the season. He's had a number of seasons where he's missed like 2 or 1 or 3 games. But you look at the games played that he could have possibly, he's played most of the games, and outside of the concussions, he really hasn't dealt with any injuries. Even though he's going to be 29 this season, he's still playing at a very high level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it'll be, and I think when you've lost your best player in Myles Garrett, and you've lost your defensive coordinator, you don't want to lose now your second best player, who's now your best player, along with Carson Schlesinger, and your veteran. And I think you're right. This is some sort of, they probably paid him more than you would another guy. And by the time
pain and suffering damages.
Right, yeah. And by the time you have to pay it, they should be in much better cap shape.
Now you can make the case that they did everything that we have all said is true.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to give him the extension anyway. He's still under control for 2 more years.
Right.
So
that's true.
And I wonder if that's the point Zach will make when he's in.
Yeah, and I get it. There is certainly
there was no urgency to do this.
Right. And the Browns seem to do this quite often. But if you're going to do it with a guy, I just think Denzel Ward's the right guy.
I agree.
Because he's a good player, and by all accounts, and I don't know, obviously I don't know him personally, but I know people who do, a tremendous person, great leader, and good influence, and you can't have all kids on the team.
Right.
And I understand Zach's point of the way to get out of this and make the Browns a contender is you need to be bad for a year or two, get those good draft picks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you can't do that at the sacrifice of getting rid of any kind of stable culture, any kind of leadership in that locker room, because then what happens? Then all of a sudden you're back with all kids in the locker room. There is no established culture, and then you're kind of right back in the wheel of madness. So keeping a guy like Denzel around, passing that torch, I'm with you, Jason. I don't know that he sees the end of that contract before they move off of him, but we'll see. But you got to have that culture established for when Arch Manning comes in and he's going to be the next leader of this team, or whoever it is. I'm just throwing Arch out there, but you got to have that established if you want to be a winning franchise.
Certainly they are not maximizing the value of the asset, because if you're trying to maximize the value of the asset, knowing that where you're at with this thing, you probably would trade them right now. And you get what you can for it.
Maybe they but you know what, Jason? Maybe they looked at possibly trading him, and nobody's willing to offer more than the third-round pick. And they're like, you know what? We're going to trade him for a third-round pick? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know that makes much sense.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
If that's the best you can get, I'd rather have Denzel. But again, you can do that without giving him
I hear
an extra $60 million on
But, on the other hand, Denzel, unfortunately, is not...
Dawg Pound, listen to this, because the Cleveland Browns may be starting to show something that this fan base has been waiting to see for a long time. Direction. On one side, you have Shedeur Sanders taking the next step in the quarterback battle. On the other side, you have Denzel Ward shutting down the noise, signing a historic extension and making it clear that he is still committed to Cleveland. And when you put both stories together, it says something important about where the Browns are trying to go. Let's start with Shedeur. After an encouraging first day of training camp, Shedeur Sanders is now getting a bigger opportunity. According to the report, he is expected to work with the first-team offense, swapping roles with Deshaun Watson as Todd Monken continues to rotate his top quarterbacks and evaluate this competition the right way. That is huge, because Shedeur already gave Browns fans a reason to pay attention. Working mostly with the second unit, he reportedly completed 16 of 19 passes without throwing an interception. He protected the football, he made smart throws, he connected deep with KC Concepcion, and now the next test is different. Now he gets to operate with the starters. That means a better offensive line. That means throwing to players like Jerry Jeudy and Harold Fannin Jr. That means facing the Browns' first-team defense, which may be the strongest unit on the roster. That is where the evaluation becomes real. That is where Todd Monken gets answers. That is where Shedeur can show whether his strong start was just one good day or the beginning of something bigger. And Dawg Pound, that is exactly what Browns fans should want. Not a fake competition, not a decision made only by contract, not a quarterback battle decided by reputation. Let the reps speak. Let the practice field tell the truth. Let Shedeur show if he can handle the speed, the pressure, the coverage, and the responsibility of running this offense with the ones. But here's the other side of this story. If Shedeur is going to grow, he needs a team around him that has structure, leadership, and belief. That is where Denzel Ward matters. Ward just signed a historic extension with the Browns, and this is not just about money. This is about identity. This is about one of the best defensive backs in football saying, "I'm still here." After all the rumors, after the Myles Garrett trade, after people wondered if Ward might want out, he made it clear that he is Cleveland through and through. That matters inside a locker room. Ward is not just a talented corner, he is a standard setter, he is a leader, he is an Ohio guy. He represents the city, the defense, and the culture the Browns are trying to rebuild. And when a young quarterback like Shedeur is trying to find his way, having a defense led by someone like Denzel Ward makes the entire team better. Because a strong defense helps a young quarterback.
If Ward locks down his side, the Browns' defense gets off the field. If Jared Verse brings pressure off the edge, the offense gets better field position. If Grant Delpit, Ronnie Hickman, Carson Schwessinger, and the rest of that defense create stops and turnovers, the quarterback does not have to play hero ball every drive. That is how you lift a team. And that is why these two stories connect. Shedeur represents possibility. Ward represents stability. Shedeur is the young quarterback trying to prove he can be the future. Ward is the veteran leader showing Cleveland still has pride, still has standards, and still has players who want to bring wins to this city. That is powerful. The Browns are not perfect. Nobody is saying the job is done. The quarterback battle is still open. Joshua still has experience, Dylan Gabriel and Taylon Green are still part of the room, Todd Monken still has to evaluate preseason games, joint practices, and every camp rep before making a decision. But for the first time in a while, there is a positive football story to build around. A young quarterback getting a real shot, a veteran defensive star choosing Cleveland, a coaching staff letting competition play out. Young weapons like KC Concepcion, Denzel Boston, Harold Fannin Jr., and Jerry Jeudy giving this offense some real intrigue. And a defense with Denzel Ward and Jared Verse that can still set the tone. That is what Browns fans should be excited about. Because if Shedeur keeps stacking good days, the QB conversation changes fast. And if Ward continues to anchor this defense, Cleveland has the kind of leader every young team needs. Put those two things together, and suddenly the Browns are not just talking about surviving another season. They are talking about building something. This team needs clarity at quarterback. It needs toughness on defense. It needs young players to grow quickly. It needs veterans to lead the right way. And right now, Shedeur Sanders and Denzel Ward represent both sides of that mission, the future and the foundation. So, Dawg Pound, this is the moment to watch closely. If Shedeur looks comfortable with the first-team offense, Todd Monken's decision gets harder. If Denzel Ward keeps leading this defense, Cleveland's culture gets stronger. And if both things happen at the same time, the Browns may finally have a path that feels real. Now I want to hear from you. Is Shedeur Sanders getting closer to becoming Cleveland's quarterback of the future? Did Denzel Ward just prove that real leaders still believe in this team? And are the Browns quietly building something better than people realize? Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in for more Browns news, Browns rumors, NFL updates, and real Dawg Pound reactions every single day.